I ask unanimous consent that the chair be authorized to declare a recess at any time. Without objection, it's so ordered. Welcome to the annual markup of the NDAA by the Strategic Forces Subcommittee. I would like to thank Ranking Member Turner and our subcommittee members on both sides of the aisle for their many contributions to the Strategic Forces MARC. As I've often said, the subcommittee has in its jurisdiction some of the most technical, complex, and consequential issues possible. Since the beginning of this year, we've held 6 public hearings and 5 closed briefings covering space, nuclear policy, and missile defense issues. And this mark is a result of that months-long bipartisan process during a prolonged public health emergency in an effort to keep our longstanding tradition of producing a defense authorization bill. It goes without saying that a nuclear attack on the United States, our forces abroad, or on our allies, or really anywhere on Earth would be catastrophic. Preventing such an attack is the first responsibility of the U.S. government. It is imperative to ensure our nuclear forces are safe, secure, reliable, and effective, including the command and control infrastructure that underpin them. This mark focuses on ensuring that the Departments of Defense and Energy are wisely spending their larger budgets for maintaining our nuclear strength. As our systems have aged, the enormity of this task, as well as its cost, are apparent. It is the duty of the subcommittee to ensure that the Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration, as well as the Department of Defense, execute this work in a responsible, effective, and efficient manner. Regarding space, we continue our focus on increasing the resilience and capability of our space assets. Specifically, the MARC continues to press the department to procure commercial services across several mission areas, including incorporating a hybrid space architecture. Highlights the need to launch an alternative positioning, timing, and navigation constellation to disincentivize an attack on our GPS assets, and requires the department to provide options that will improve infrastructure at our space launch ranges. Understanding the range of the future must be modernized to meet the growing demand for launch. This mark requires a department-wide look at the infrastructure to support the large strategic programs of record across nuclear, hypersonic, and missile defense systems, and highlights the need to address critical testing facilities such as wind tunnels and arc heaters, while also leveraging partnerships with universities and non-defense organizations to meet future requirements. With regards to missile defense, this mark directs the Secretary of Defense to identify an architecture and acquisition plan to deliver an integrated air and missile defense system for the U.S. territory of Guam. Lastly, our mark highlights the subcommittee's continued support of directed energy technologies for ballistic and hypersonic defense applications, because threats continue to become more complex, and we must take advantage of capabilities that change the cost curve for missile defense. Before I close, I would like to give our sincere thanks to our wonderful staff, Maria Vastula, Grant Snyder, Ryan Tully, Whitney Verrett, and Zach Taylor. I now turn to my ranking member, the gentleman from Ohio, for his remarks.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I would like to first start by thanking you for the manner in which you have run this subcommittee in a very bipartisan manner, and we've had a number of truly timely hearings and substantive witnesses. So thank you very much for that and for your working in a bipartisan manner. I'd also like to personally thank the majority subcommittee PSMs, Maria Vasilov and Grant Schneider. They do a great deal of work. Thank you both for your also having contributed to the bipartisan spirit. Same goes for our subcommittee clerk, Zach Taylor, and I'd want to recognize the outstanding work of the minority staffers, Ryan Tully and Whitney Verrett. Your expertise is incredibly important and incredibly needed, and you aid us greatly. Both are new to the committee, and they've been excellent additions to our Strategic Forces team. Thank you all. The work of the Strategic Forces Subcommittee is vital to our national security. As you know, our portfolio consists of nuclear weapons, missiles, missile defense, and space, and our work on these issues is especially important given the threat environment we find ourselves in. China is undergoing a rapid nuclear buildup that is, in many ways, unprecedented, while also threatening to the United States and our allies. In fact, earlier this month, a Chinese Communist Party-controlled media outlet threatened Japan with a nuclear first strike. Also, Russia's nuclear program has undergone significant modernization, including the development of brand new weapon systems. Russia has modernized all 3 legs of their triad, increased the number of their weapons, and deployed a variety of new delivery systems. As Admiral Richard told us earlier this year, we now must deter both of these adversaries at the same time and do it in very different ways. This mark and ultimately the full NDAA will help us to do that. Additionally, the subcommittee conducts oversight and budgetary work to protect the homeland from a rogue North Korean ICBM as well as the evolving Iranian missile threat. These are just a few issue areas that we address, but they're critical to our national security, and we have worked together in a bipartisan manner to do that. We are also continuing the previous good work of this subcommittee as we work to support the stand-up of the Space Force. While I'm thankful we finally have a confirmed Secretary of the Air Force, I remain concerned we do not yet have a confirmed Assistant Secretary for Space Acquisition and Integration. However, we continue to make sure that they have the resources they need to maintain our space advantage. With that, I again thank the Chairman for putting forth this mark, and I look forward to this subcommittee addressing these and other important issues. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. We will now proceed to the markup of H.R. 4350, the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2022. Without objection, the first reading of the bill is dispensed with. Copies of our subcommittee mark and directive report language were made available and distributed to members' offices on Monday, July 26th. Are there any discussions or questions on the subcommittee mark? If there is no further discussion, the chair lays before the members the text of the subcommittee mark for consideration. Without objection, the mark is open to amendment at any point. Are there any amendments to the subcommittee mark? Hearing none, the question now occurs on the adoption of the mark. So many as are in favor will say aye. Those opposed,
aye.
No. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the mark is adopted. I don't think we need to have a roll call vote, right? So we'll move on to the chair now recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Carbajal, the vice chair of the committee, for the purpose of a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, I move that the subcommittee report the mark as amended favorably to the full committee.
The question is on the motion of the gentleman from California, Mr. Carbajal. So many as are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. A quorum being present, the ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. And without an objection, a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. Without objection, members have 5 legislative days within which to submit written statements into the record. So ordered. I also ask unanimous consent that the staff be authorized to make necessary conforming technical and clerical changes and to remove from the mark any provisions that would cause the mark to refer to other committees or would result in additional direct spending. Without objection, so ordered. There being no further legislative business before the subcommittee, this meeting is adjourned.